What's up, Bronco Nation, Bronco Nation News supporters? BJ Rains here, along with Tyler Rausa. This is going to be a lot of fun. Kicking It With Tyler Rausa, the name of the show. Going to talk some Boise State football with a former Boise State kicker. Probably once a week, we'll kind of see, and might be on Mondays, but we're going to do it tonight because of the bowl game, and really excited about this. Tyler, thanks so much for doing this, man. How are you?
I'm great, man. I'm excited to do this. Excited to talk everything Boise State football, just everything that's going on. Let's get it.
All right. Well, before we go any further, my kids have to go to bed. So here's what we're going to do. My kids are going to come in here, folks. Naismith, come around to this side. We had a contest on here for the first 100 subscribers. If you're one of the first 100 subscribers, you were entered into a contest to win a gift card to the Blue and Orange store, $100. So, Nelson, go ahead and pull a name out of there, bud. This is my 4-year-old Nelson. Pull a name out, Nelson. Reach in there and grab a name. Just grab one little piece of paper. We're going to grab one little piece of paper. We're going to give away our $100 gift card to the Blue and Orange store here. The 100 first subscribers were all entered. And our winner is going to be, Naismith, read the name. Joe Rogalski. Joe Rogalski will be in contact with you. You're the winner of the $100 gift card to the Blue and Orange store, Joe Rogalski. So, guys, appreciate it. And head on up to bed with Mom, all right? So we'll get ready to
night,
there you go.
Night, boys.
Couldn't make him wait till the end of the show. We had to get it out of the way first. So, Joe Rogalski, congratulations to you. You're getting the $100 gift card to the Blue and Orange store. And I'm in my garage, by the way, Tyler. I got this great studio out here in my garage. You would never know it if the camera was panned away with how dirty it is here. But let's have some fun, all right? What you got the little setup there with the jersey in the background?
Yeah, I'm in my kitchen, actually. That's the best part about it.
There you go. Technology is a wonderful thing. The Barstool Sports Arizona Bowl, the first topic tonight, Tyler. What do you make of that as a former player? The game is not on TV. It's Barstool Sports, kind of a controversial, a company. And I think some fans wanted Boise State to stay and play in the Potato Bowl. But instead, they're going to be going down on New Year's Eve to Tucson. The game's streaming online. It's not on TV. What are your initial thoughts when you found out about this matchup against Central Michigan?
Yeah, personally, I would have liked for us to stay home with Boise State, at Boise State, but it sounded like, it kind of wasn't in our hands at that point because they had their pick of who they're going with. You look at it from the outside, Barstool is kind of that, that big, it's not up and coming anymore. It's here. I mean, they have a big following. They have a lot going on. The not televised part is hard because there's that demographic that doesn't know how to work streaming. They don't know how to work going online and looking at it. Do you have to pay to watch it online?
Nope. It will be free on all their platforms, at least.
Okay, so you don't have to pay. Looking at, tickets there, they're cheaper tickets, and, obviously it's after Christmas. So what's good for the players is they can go home for Christmas. They can do whatever they want. It's going to be interesting to see what they do because they announced their halftime already. They have a halftime show, which is
I should have had some Creed music or something going on here for us at the beginning of the show. I wasn't prepared for that. I'm
right.
Sorry.
And so that's going to be fun. I mean, if they replicate what they did, it was in Dallas, correct, when they did all that. So, looking over the outside, you expect, chaos. You expect them to pull out all the bells and whistles for their first one. The hard part is with this game, with even the streaming itself, it's, you're kind of looking at just Boise State fans and just Central Michigan fans to watch this game because it's an hour before Alabama and Cincinnati.
Yep. That is kind of a bad beat that the first half, right about halftime, people will be switching over to ESPN for the Alabama-Cincinnati Final Four game. But I will say this, yeah. Barstool is kind of the millennials, the younger generation with Dave Portnoy and Big Cat and all these guys. I mean, it is kind of a thing. So I think their hope is that the younger people will watch it. Maybe the high schoolers, maybe the Boise State brand gets out there a little bit. But I can't wait till game day when the average fan's trying to find it on TV and can't, and all the tweets and emails that all of us are going to get.
Right. Well, and then I'm curious too if they're, are they going to take it live with Twitter? Are they going to take it live with, they have Twitter, they have Facebook, they have TikTok. I mean, they have all these social media platforms. How far are they going to take it with, displaying all that? Because if, let's say, I think they have a couple million on TikTok alone. If they go TikTok with it, hey, you might have, a large variety watching it at first or in glances. But I'm just curious on how far they're going to go with it. Where's the advertising? What are they going to do? I could almost seeing it, personally from being in the XFL, maybe exploring, something on the sideline, Dave Portnoy doing something.
Oh yeah.
I'm just excited for, again, the outside looking in. I'm excited for what they're gonna do.
Yeah, it's going to be very interesting. And if you have a comment on this, what do you think? We'll get some comments on the screen here. What do you think of the Arizona Bowl, the Barstool Sports Arizona Bowl? The fact that it's not on TV. Get your comments in, whether you're watching on Facebook or Twitter, YouTube, and we will get those comments in. I can put them on the screen right here. If you got a question for Tyler, I kind of should have said this first, Tyler, but give our fans a little bit of a background. You obviously played at Boise State. But you had some, you had some professional opportunities, and you're still hoping for a professional opportunity. Before we get back to the bowl game, for someone that's not familiar with your career, your time at Boise State, tell our viewers here about your football background.
Yeah, so obviously, Boise State from 13 to 16, I had time of my life. After that, I've kind of been everywhere. I've gone from the spring league, which is, you've kind of seen on Fox here and there. I've done arena football 2 or 3 times. I've been in the XFL. I went through the AAF, and I'm still going. The dream is still going, and I'm still getting workouts with NFL teams, and the grind just never stopped. It's kind of one of those things where I'm just kind of going until the wheels fall off, and I keep getting these opportunities, and I keep doing well. And the hard part is if I was told I wasn't good enough and I should stop, I think that'd be easier. And or if I went into somewhere and then I failed and I didn't do well, I would stop there. But as of right now, I keep doing well. I keep having success. I keep getting these workouts and positive things, sent to me my way. And, I keep going. And for now, living in Boise, my fiance and I, we just had our first kid, and he's, month and a half years old, little Brooks. And, we're so excited to have him. And, I would love for him to, grow up watching me play football and do all that. And, but in the meantime, just working out here and, have a little bit of a side business going right now with training local kickers in the area. And I have about 23 kids, that I take on the weekends, and we go out and we grind and we try and get better, and it's starting to pay dividends in the area.
Well, folks can get in touch with you, I assume, on social media, right? Anybody with a high school kicker out there or a youth kicker that wants to get learning from the best. You're not still the record holder, right? You got passed up this year by Mr. Dalmas, right? But you held the Boise State record for what, single season made field goals, right? 25?
Yes, sir. Yeah, he got me.
Oh, well, we'll talk about Jonah Dalmas a little later on the show. But, just reach out to you via social media, or what's the best way that if anyone's listening, if they're a kicker or want to get some private lessons or things from you, how can they reach out?
Yeah, you can go through Twitter. You can go through Instagram. I have 2 different Instagram pages you can go through. I have a kicker-specific one with Rausa Kicking that's on Instagram, and it's, you see where all my videos are. I post of all my kids, and I just want the best for them, and I want to try and get them out. And early success so far with all the leagues in the Boise Meridian area. I had first, second, and third team with every single league and division, and just looking to continue that with those guys. And if you want to come get better and you want to come, train with some of the best kickers in the area, go ahead and just message me, and I would love to work with anybody.
And you need to follow Tyler on social media regardless, because he was getting a little banty today. You are getting a little frustrated. I know you say you're waiting for your chance. You're waiting patiently. And again, if you have a question or a comment for Tyler or myself, get it in here, and we'll get to it here in a little bit. But there were some was it the Jets game where there were missed couple field goals, a couple missed extra points? I mean, you're still posting social media videos of you hitting from 60 yards. And what are the chances? Are you hoping that? Is your agent still talking to teams? Are you hoping at some point here you can get another tryout, or where is your NFL dream stand?
Yeah, I mean, there's conversation. There's a lot of teams who know who I am. They saw what I did in the XFL. They know what
By the
I
way,
did
you
at
scored the
Boise
first
State.
points in XFL history, right? This guy right here, Tyler Rausa, the field goal, the first points in the history of the new XFL, I guess, which in another year will be the new XFL, I guess. But
exactly,
you do have that record to your name.
Yeah, exactly. And I keep getting workouts, and there's always dialogue with my agent, and guys know who I am. I mean, these teams know who I am. The problem is they want experience without giving it. So, say I hit up, one of these teams, or I have a lot of numbers with different teams, my agent hits them up. The problem is they go, yeah, we know who he is, we like what he does, but we're going to go with a veteran route. And it's the hard part is there's not a big pool of veterans this year, and there's a lot of guys like myself and even some of my really good friends who are free agents also who we are getting frustrated because we go to these workouts and we do really well and we beat a lot of these guys out who are playing on Sundays, and it's how the workouts go then or how they're doing on Sundays. And that's where we're grinding. We're trying to get to a place where we want to be and just try and succeed and do the best we can. But yeah, as of right now, I mean, I barely even watch footballs on Sundays because it's hard to watch because again, going against some of these guys, it's sometimes it's not talent that's there.
Well, maybe this show will be what gets the interest stirred back up again. Let's just get this thing spread on social media, retweeted, liked, everything, and maybe this will be what it takes to get. Just if you do get called up and you do become an NFL star, you got to promise me you'll keep doing this every week.
Yeah, we'll just say it started here.
Hey, Gil, we got some questions here coming in, and somebody was again. If you have a question or a comment, by the way, our friend Kelly Robbins, Kaysen will be enrolled in about a month, so you're going to give him a discount at least, right?
Always. Yeah. Kaysen's soon to be about a year and a half. He's a good kid.
Time to be the first Barstool Sports champions. You got to take the positive, Chase Bragg says. And what do you make when you think the team found out that, and I don't say this with any disrespect, but Boise State was 7-5 this year, Tyler. It wasn't like they had one of their typical Boise State years. There weren't a lot of options out there available for them. So it had to be a little humbling experience probably to find out your options were the Barstool Bowl and maybe the Potato Bowl. I mean, there weren't a lot of other options for them this year because they just, didn't have a typical Boise State year. So what do you think the speculation was like this week with all the bowl, looking and seeing where they might go? And then when they had that Zoom today with Coach Avalos and found out it was the Barstool Bowl, what do you think the reaction was?
I mean, I'm sure there's mixed emotions. You're probably going to have guys who, very slim guys, honestly, that wanted to stay in Boise. You always want to go somewhere and, have some fun somewhere else because, again, you're in Boise year round. I don't know, honestly, because it's a little bit of a different generation from even when I was there already. Barstool played a big, part in how some of these kids even came into social media, and some can be excited, some may not be as excited because I think there could be a lot of distractions around it. I'm sure Avalos went over that. There's gonna be a lot. There's gonna be a lot of advertising. There's gonna be a lot of first for this, first for that, and to be the first Barstool Sports champion for a bowl game, that'd be pretty cool. I mean, as
is the trophy a big Barstool or what?
That part I don't know. I mean, I'm sure there's going to be banners. There's going to be everything. I mean, I think they're going to go big for their first one, and they're going to figure it out from there. But I think they're going to throw everything they have in the pot, and they're going to go with it.
Well, Rob Walters sums it up pretty bluntly. It's crap, according to Rob Walters. I know some of the fans wanted Boise State to stay and play in the Potato Bowl, and I know you said a lot of guys wanted to go elsewhere. But if the option was, having to leave for Christmas and then come back to get ready for the game and play on New Year's and then get another week off, I think I had heard some players would have rather just got it over with and then had the full 2 weeks back at home and not had to come back after Christmas. So I guess I'm trying to remember the bowl games that you were in. Were you part of the First Responder Bowl? Or is that
so I was not. So my first year we went to Hawaii.
Okay, that's right.
And that was when Peterson announced his departure.
Yep.
From there we won the Fiesta Bowl, which is what this shirt's from. In 2014, 2015, we went to San Diego in the Poinsettia Bowl. And then in 2016, we were in Arizona in the
Cactus Bowl.
No, it wasn't. Was it the Cactus
Motel
Bowl?
6
I thought
Cactus
it was like the
Bowl,
Motel 6. Yeah.
Motel 6 Cactus Bowl. Yeah. So I think the Poinsettia Bowl was like the 23rd. So you guys still got to get home in time for Christmas and stuff. But I think that has to be tough, whether or not you want to play in an early bowl. And there was this sense that they just want to get it over with. Well, I don't think that's true. But obviously, you guys have families and want to go home, and to have to go home for 3 days and then come all the way back to Boise and gear back up to play in a bowl game. What's that part like? You haven't done it, or maybe you guys did it in the Cactus Bowl. I forget if you got to go home, but to be doing all these practices and then go home for 3 days with family and friends and not do any football and then meet back up and have to get ready for a game. What's that kind of challenge going to be like?
Yeah. So in 2013, when we went to Hawaii, we played on Christmas Eve, obviously. And then you get on a plane immediately and you're flying home. So you're flying home on Christmas Eve, and when we landed, I believe it was Christmas morning when we landed, and I actually just got in my car and I drove home. Some guys from Hawaii could fly back home, but I believe you had to pay more. Um, in 2014, when we went to the Fiesta Bowl, that was where we actually went home first for
Yeah,
Christmas.
that's right.
Yeah, so we were at home for, I believe, 3 days, and then they flew us straight to Arizona. And that was when we started practicing. And that was a really cool experience. I thought that whole thing was put together so well. And that was Vizio then.
Yep.
And yeah, we
Was
had a
I
great
maybe
time
because it
there.
was the Fiesta Bowl though? But I mean, is there anything to like your mental mindset where you're practicing and then all of a sudden you go home and you're with family and you're on the couch and you're eating pecan pie and it's Christmas and whatever else, and then all of a sudden you got to fly back and gear up for a bowl game. I assume it wasn't as big of a deal for the Fiesta Bowl, but I would imagine a bowl like this. Can that be tough for guys to have to kind of gear back up?
Yeah, especially to get in the right mindset, because at this point, you're doing it for just, I mean, you're playing to win. You always play to win, but there's no real incentive to this part. And it was, it's kind of the same way for us in 15 and 16, really, especially in 16, because we're going in to play a Baylor that I believe it was their first year bowl eligible. So they kind of had a little bit more to play for than what we did, and it showed. And, guys just got to get in the right mental space of coming in and trying to win. And our last game is a little bit bitter taste in the mouth, and I think that's, for us, it's one of those where it can build into next year, and that's what Avalos is going to try and do is, steamroll through this game and try and get something rolling in the next year and get something, going.
Another comment here. If you got a comment or a question, keep bringing them in here. We'll get your question to Tyler, what it's like as an NFL kicker. Any questions about Boise State? Any questions about Coach Avalos, Coach Riddle, a lot of the staff he's familiar with, and the kickers. Any question you might have about Boise State football, Tyler's your guy, and this is the time to ask him. Dayton's wanting to know, hasn't the Arizona Bowl been streaming online before? I think it was on Stadium last year. I want to say it was streaming on Stadium. And my understanding, by the way, is there is a Barstool Sports app. So if you have a smart TV, I believe you can download an app, and then you'll be able to. You can still actually watch it on your TV via an app. But it's still not the same. Tyler is turning on ESPN or one of those other channels, right? I mean, it's not the same. And I know you guys, when you're playing, you're not worried about that. But you got family and friends and grandmas and grandpas. I mean, it's not ideal to be streaming only.
No, and I mean, to be honest, for me, I actually don't even have cable. So with these apps, if you can download it on like I have one of my Vizio TVs, I can get most of these apps and stuff, or even through Apple TV. So technically, if you can get it through there, I guess it would kind of be the same, but a lot of people don't have that access, and they don't know how to work, kind of smart TVs. I've come across a lot of people that don't know how to work smart TVs, and they just kind of have it just because of how big it is. But yeah, I mean, if they have a legit app up and running, I mean, it could very well be the same, but I'm just as interested to see how this goes as anybody else.
Hey, Boise Dentistry Co. Got to give them a shout out. Modern, friendly, clean dental office right there for the whole family. My whole family's making the switch over there to Boise Dentistry. So you can see their logo there on the bottom of the screen. Check them out, BoiseDentistryCo.com. Multiple locations around the valley. They accept most insurances. Caldwell, Mountain Home as well, and Boise. And my whole family's making the switch over there to Boise Dentistry. So appreciate their sponsorship, and Chris Meinert of the show here in Bronco Nation News. And Tyler, we're getting some more people coming in here. Dayton Robinson, and again, get your questions in. Dayton wants to know, what does a typical NFL workout consist of? So if you, decide if a team calls you and you go in and do a workout, what does that consist of?
So first, it starts by a random phone call. A lot of my phone calls I've gotten have been, 11 p.m. in the afternoon, and 11 a.m. and it's like, hey, this is so-and-so from, this team. We're going to look to fly you out tomorrow. What city are you in? You're like, all right, Boise, Idaho. And then it's like, boom, you drop everything. You leave on the plane the next day, and they fly you in. Most of the time, you don't get in until later at night. So like my last one, we'll go with Cleveland. I didn't get in until about 11 o'clock at night. And the next morning, we have to get up at 6 a.m. We get there before the whole team gets there because it's, COVID protocols. We get there. We have to do a COVID test before we get in. So you're basically they put you in separate rides. You have to take a COVID test. You have to do just different swaps of, like, I swear they put 4 different things in my nose, and you have to get the okay before going in. You got to be vaccinated to get these workouts. And so when you go into these workouts, you stretch, you get about 15 minutes before, and then it's full go. So some teams, every team kind of does it different, but there's a similarity with kind of what they do. So in Cleveland, we had special teams coach, head coach, GM, and all basically the scouting department that was around. So you have probably around 30 people that are watching, and you just go through various spots. So with Cleveland, we just started short and we worked our way back. So we went 15 kicks, started at PAT, went hash to hash. Rarely do you have a middle kick, and then you go all the way back to about 65. And again, 15 kicks, and it's, you have anywhere between 2 to 5 guys. We had 4 guys there at that time. And so you just switch off. One goes after another. It's dead quiet. I mean, nobody's talking. It's, for a kicker workout, is pretty intense for what we do. And again, you go all the way back to 65. And then most of the time on that 15 kick, they give you kind of like, all right, game winner from, 55 to 65, you choose the spot. And most of the time that first guy chooses like a 65 because, they give you that limit. You just want to be at the 65 and see what you can do. And after that, you talk to coaches. Sometimes it's not even always who wins these workouts. It's sometimes teams call 4 different guys in, and they have a guy in mind who they want to sign already, and they just want to make sure, he's hitting good balls, consistent balls, or he even goes in and wins, unless he kind of goes in and doesn't do well. And that's the hard part, where you go in and, this guy comes in 3rd place, maybe 2nd, and then all of a sudden he gets signed. You go, what happened there? But that's just the way it is, and that's how a lot of the workouts go. And it does.
When was the Cleveland workout?
That one was just before the season started, so a week before the season started.
Okay. Yeah, it's got to be tough, man, just to be watching these kickers. Was it the Jets today that missed a couple, and that you've gone up against that guy before?
Yeah. We actually went up against each other in Cleveland, and he came in 3rd, actually.
You got a lot of fans on here, though. Andrew Hutton, Rouse is one of the best kickers. Do you know Andrew, or?
I don't believe so.
Okay, he knows where you're from, though, obviously, and
yeah, from the Inland Empire, which is, I mean, you have guys. Inland Empire produces a lot of guys.
This says what team? I don't know if that means XFL or what. You were on the Washington D.C. team, right?
Yeah, with the DC Defenders in Washington, and then when I did that workout, that was the Cleveland.
When you they are bringing the XFL back next year, right? Is that something you might, if you're not on an NFL team by then, you might try to give that another go?
2023. So
okay.
Another 2 years, wow. But next year I think they're going to do the draft. They're going to do the player pool. So, I mean, I'll go for that. You have the USFL that's coming next year as well. I'll definitely give that a shot. I mean, we're just going to keep going, build up as much film as possible to where they can't say no.
Well, I admire your passion for not giving up, and hopefully enough people that know somebody that needs kicking lessons help fund Mr. Rausa here so he can keep his NFL dream alive and give some lessons to youth people as well. And you can reach out to him on social media, as he said. Dennis Dilly saying, going to need a lot of lipstick for this pig in terms of the bowl game and some of the problems there, I guess, with Barstool. And, we'll see. It's growing on me a little bit. I don't love that it's not on TV. My dad's not going to have any idea how to figure out how to watch it. Other
right.
people are going to be in the same boat like that. I actually asked Andy Avalos. Let's watch a clip. Andy Avalos, short clip here, the Boise State coach. I asked him today during the press conference what his thoughts were on getting to this bowl game, and some people wanted the Potato Bowl, and they're not going to do that. But here's my question, and Andy Avalos quickly talking about the bowl.
Andy, how did this kind of play out for you as a first-time head coach the last couple of days, looking at the different options and stuff? I know some fans maybe aren't thrilled that it's not on TV and maybe wanted to play in the Potato Bowl. I mean, how do you look at the different options, and what were your options, and how did it end up that this is where you're headed?
Yeah, so the conference has allocations, obviously, with different bowl games, and it's all structured. It's all tiered out. Barstool had the number 1 pick for our conference outside of the conference champion. And we're blessed that all along we were their choice and that they want us to be a part of this matchup. In terms of the streaming process, opposed to being on a traditional network, BJ, as we all come to find out, that's the way of life. My kids watch streaming. I think everybody streams these days. So, it's the direction things will move in. And a lot of ESPN stuff is streamed as well anymore these days. So this is going to be a new opportunity for us in a new era, and to see how these opportunities allow Boise State's brand to hit the nation, and how many viewerships we'll have through this streaming process. Is it worked through this past week with there being multiple opportunities within our conference of bowl games that are allocated to the Mountain West, and then opportunities outside of the Mountain West. The way it was structured is that the Arizona Bowl had the first pick, outside of the conference champions, and that was us. And so that comes a great honor that we were their first choice all along.
And I do think that was part of the problem for folks that wanted the Potato Bowls, that the Barstool Sports got the next pick when they made this deal. They got an agreement with the Mountain West where they could have a say, and I think that they really wanted Boise State's brand, obviously, Tyler, and they were able to convince the Mountain West that that's who they wanted, and that's where it'll be. Central Michigan is the opponent. The Central Michigan Chippewas, correct? Jim McElwain. Was Jim McElwain at Colorado State? Did you ever play against him?
Yep, 2014 is where they came to the Blue with their team that they were going to run the Mountain West with. I mean, we couldn't have heard enough, and this will be a personal game for him, because I remember even when Harsin came in with all the coaching staff, excuse me, from Arc State, and I remember when we played Lafayette at home. That was a personal game for them. I mean, they went on for days about how physical they were going to come in, because they beat them in a game at Arkansas State that, I think was controversial. So coaches do have games that are personal to them. And I think this will be one that's for him to get back at Boise State for, possibly even dethroning them in that team. I mean, they had the quarterback, they had the running back, they had everything on that team. And they come into Boise State, they put together a great game plan. They scored some points. They made some stops on defense. I mean, it was a complete game, but yeah, it's for us coming out on top against that team was big time, and we rolled.
Central Michigan 8-4, and again, their coach Jim McElwain was at Colorado State, then went to Florida, and now is at Central Michigan. 6-2 in the MAC for Central Michigan. They have the leading rusher in the nation, Lou Nichols III. He has rushed for 1,710 yards, 15 touchdowns on 310 carries. So that's kind of a unique storyline going into this game. Boise State's defense going to get a chance to try to shut down Tyler, the leading rusher in the nation. What do you think of that, and what else do you make of Central Michigan? They're kind of hot. They've won 4 in a row, and I think 6 out of 7 coming in.
Yeah, no, they're coming in real hot. This will be a personal game for not only the head coach, but for them just to prove something. Because when same thing kind of that what Nick Saban said, but it applies to us a lot is, Boise State, we've been to the top, and we still have that nationally recognized brand. They're going to come in swinging. And for us to be able to stop the run is going to be huge, but to create turnovers in general, I mean, even their quarterback throughout this whole year, I think he has 5 turnovers total that he's thrown. So he's a little stingy with the ball as well. He's decent. I believe he's just over 2,500 yards. I mean, they're scoring 33 a game. I mean, they're rolling. Defensively, they're not very sound, giving up 26. It's for us, we're going to need to put up points, put them up fast, and be able to hold them on defense. But I think the biggest thing is for us stopping the run and create turnovers for their passing game, and just figure out ways to continue to excel. Special teams, they're even, a little bit sloppy on the kicking game. They're averaging about 40 punting wise. Their kicker is like 14 for 21. So he's, not very reliable, even though against NIU, I believe he hit a big time kick, but those always play into effect. These kicking games, man, they really change field position. And obviously Jonah, we have one of the best kickers in the nation. He should have been a Groza finalist. But that's a whole nother thing. And then Joel's come, within these last 2 years, he's been big. And he's been working, and he's been doing really well. And to be able to change the field position, it's going to be one of those games. Field position is going to be key. And it's one of those hidden yards that we're going to have to play with.
Well, I am one of the reasons I am excited about having you on is once the season's over and like Joel's done, hopefully we can get Joel to jump on here and chat with us and some of the other
Oh yeah.
former kickers and players and punters that you have played with or played against, and heck, even some NFL guys. Who cares if they're not tied to Boise State? We can get on
Heck
some of
yeah.
those guys too. I'm looking forward to that to opening up your Rolodex a little bit. I can't get the big guests, so that's why I got you in here to help bring
Right.
some credibility to this show here. But well, let's talk about. We'll have time the next couple of weeks before the game to kind of really break down the matchup and all that. But I did want to ask you. You mentioned the snub for the Groza Award. You look at the stats that Jonah Dalmas had 26 of 28. I think he's 3 field goals away from the Mountain West record. But he leads the nation right now, 26 field goals. The next guy, Caden Camper at CSU, is 25. And then you go down to 23. But not only did he lead the nation, he had 92.9 percentage. So his percentage was among the best. It was the best for anybody with at least, I think, 20 made field goals. And then you throw in the fact that he only missed 2. And he made literally the most field goals of anybody in the nation. I think it was 3 games this year where he made 4 field goals. Just the consistency. And one of his 2 misses was the Oklahoma State one, unfortunately, that got tipped. When he kicked it, partially blocked, and it came out a little bit low. But that's only really had one actual miss where he just didn't hit it, through the uprights. So what's your make of what Jonah Dalmas has done? Kind of a cool story. A local kid, wasn't sure if he wanted to play soccer or football, goes on his mission, came back, had an opportunity at Utah Valley maybe to play soccer. Instead decides to send a kicking video to the Boise State coaches, and they gave him a chance, and he earned a 14-day tryout. And I think they said it was after 3 days. They said, well, we've seen enough. You can come on the team. And he's been an incredible story. And from one kicker to the next, what are your thoughts on Jonah?
Yeah, the kid's a stud. He's a great kid, great on and off the field, which is, everything you look for. And he's done nothing but work. And he's asked questions. He always loves getting advice, and he always loves kind of just talking football and really getting in the groove of things. And, for what he's been able to do, it's been remarkable. I mean, the kid's, again, he's a stud. And for the little amount of playing that, went on in high school with him, and for just coming out and doing what he's doing, again, he's the top in the country for a reason. The work ethic and everything that, he's about. I mean, he's 26 for 28 this year. Last year he was 7 for 8, and he had a long of 51. He didn't get, he had those 250s this year that, sailed a little bit on him. He was just a little bit aggressive on it. I mean, great balls in general, but kid's a stud. The snub on the Lou Groza, I don't exactly know what they look for. I mean, I get the 50-yarders.
I'll tell you, like Power 5.
Right. And it's, stuff like that. It's hard. It's hard because he does everything right. He does everything that, people want him to do, especially with the voting. And, that happens. But you know what? He's going to continue to roll. He's going to continue to do what he does.
Hey, if you just started your business or have been working for decades, United Commercial offers competitive rates and great service to help manage your business insurance needs. United Commercial makes it easy for you. You can see their logo on the screen there. You can just Google them and go to unitedcommercialinsurance.com. They can handle all your business insurance needs, from general liability to workers' comp, much more. Call United Commercial Insurance to get a quote. They make it easy on your business. From large business to small, United Commercial can handle it all. And again, they can do it in 44 states. That's pretty cool for them. Most typical agency would be 2 to 4 states, but 44 states. So wherever you're watching this from, if you own a business, you need to look up and give United Commercial Insurance a ring. Just Google them, check them out on their website, and their phone number, their link to their website is available at BroncoNationNews.com. Appreciate their group and Brandon Miner, United Commercial Insurance. Overall, Boise State, Stacey Collins comes in on special teams. Tyler, before we get out of here, what's your take on the 12-game season and special teams for Boise State? You mentioned what Joel had done, and his consistency, I think, has been better this year. And but Stacey Collins, I don't know how familiar you are with him. You obviously know Rid very well, and Stacey Collins is kind of spearheading the special teams, and he worked obviously at Utah State for a while. What's your make on the special teams overall at Boise State this year?
I thought they've been great. I thought he's been doing a great job with mixing up looks, and that's huge. And for him to, come at punts in different angles, you always want to switch up looks. Never getting anybody comfortable and keeping them on their toes. So, against San Diego State, he created some good looks, and everything before. I mean, even Utah State, just with punt return, that's been huge. I mean, we've changed the field on a lot of these. Khalil's been great at returner, and just the sound protectiveness of what he's been able to do. If you don't notice special teams as far as a kicking unit, he's doing the right thing. If you notice it on kick return, if you notice it on kickoff return, punt return, any sort of return, if you're noticing it, he's doing a great job in a good way. There's always going to be something that goes wrong, but that's where you have to roll with the punches. But from everything I've seen this year, I think we've maybe had one thing go wrong against Air Force. But Stacey Collins has been doing a great job. He's a great individual. I've had great conversations with him, and he's the job he's doing is beyond what I expected.
Was that the New Mexico game, I think, with the 2 blocks returned for touchdowns as well on the punts? So that was pretty impressive on senior night to be able to block 2 punts like that and score touchdowns on them. You got a shout out from a former teammate here watching.
Matt Coda.
Yeah, he says, "I see you, Rouse. Glad to see you doing well. Take care, dude." You got a shout out. Was he a long snapper?
Yeah, Coda was 2016 was a starting long snapper. And great teammate, great guy. I hope you're doing well, bud. He got married. Beautiful wife. I mean, he's doing really well.
I'll tell you what, those are 2 spots, the long snapper and then more importantly, the holder, that don't get nearly enough credit. I mean, those are the holder in particular. They just make it look so easy, and to have to spin it and get it down. I mean, I know it's hard to kick it, and that's obviously the guy that gets all the glory. But if the snap's not there and the hold's not there, especially on those extra points where you score and you're about to tie the game or whatever late in the game, and it's kind of just a given. Those things are not given. I mean, it's so easy to drop a snap or to not place it right, but that's one thing that you would know better than me. But from an outsider looking in, I don't think the snapper or particularly the holder get nearly enough credit.
Yeah, and it's, again, if you don't notice them, they're doing a great job, and that's the biggest thing. But what people have to know too is, especially on field goal alone, they get punished. It's a slow, painful death for them, because as soon as they snap, they got to go head down and they got to take blows. But for long snappers in general, it's not just snapping alone. They got to figure out the right amount of spins it takes to get laces going forward to where it's not on the holder. Yes, that's a holder's job at the end of the day, but they have to help out the holder. So when we're practicing, I mean, long snappers, again, they have to switch up grips, and it's not the same thing every day, but most of the time it is. So they have to switch up grips to where they get, again, the right amount of turns on the ball to the long snapper or to the holder, to where when he puts it down, it's laces forward every single time, to where the operation can get up and going under 1.3 seconds.
Yeah, I'm always amazed, especially like an overtime or something where you score and then it's like, oh, they're going to go to the next overtime. Well, you got to make the extra point first. And I'm amazed at how often I think Daniel Cantrell does a heck of a job snapping. And who's the holder right now? Riddle, right?
Right now it's Riddle, yeah.
Yep, yeah. Connor Riddle's done a heck of a job holding too. It's just crazy that they don't get nearly enough credit for what they're able to do. We'll continue this next week, and maybe we can get Rid or Stacey Collins to come on. I'll see if I can work some magic. We'll see if we can maybe get one of them on to talk special teams, and that'd be fun for you to get to be the interviewer and ask some questions to one of your former coaches. That might be kind of fun. We'll see if we can try to make that happen if Boise State Sports Information Department will let us. But appreciate it, Tyler. This has been fun. I told you I didn't know if we'd go 15 minutes or 45, and we had enough interest and enough comments to keep this going. A couple more quick ones. Scott saying, will it be on the radio? Yes, it will be on the regular 670 KBOI. It'll be on 93.1 FM, the ticket. We did have one more question we'll get to. How'd you get your start in kicking?
I got started in kicking going into freshman year of high school. And it was one of those things where I'm like, you know what? Let's play some football. Let's see what's going on. But I always had a weird interest in kicking. I always watched, my dad worked at the high school that I went to. So I always watched, and I was always intrigued with kind of just kicking in general. I didn't even care about anything else. I just loved see how far one person can kick an object. And, from there, I'm just like, you know what? I want to do that. That's fun. And did it freshman year, had, really early success, and then made my way to varsity and just took off from there.
Well, hopefully I'm proud of you, man. Glad you're keeping the dream alive for the NFL. Hopefully one of these days somebody will be smart enough to give you a call. But looking forward to this. I think we're going to shoot for Mondays moving forward. But with the bowl announcement coming out today, we wanted to go ahead and do this tonight. Again, it'll be the Barstool Sports Arizona Bowl. We got full coverage, BroncoNationNews.com. If you want to watch the full Andy Avalos press conference, if you want to watch some of the other videos of Dave Portnoy announcing the bowl matchup, some of the other fun videos, we've got those up on the site. And Tyler, appreciate your time, man. This was fun, and I think we can hopefully keep this going. We'll get some guests. I got some other ideas for some topics, and it's going to be a lot of fun. And kicking it with Rausa. We'll see if we can keep this going, maybe at least through spring ball or just whatever the interest level is like. I want to talk recruiting next week because next week will be the show right before signing day, so we could talk about your recruiting story and just the recruiting process and some of that stuff. So I think we got some fun ideas. But I appreciate your time, man, and hopefully you had fun. Again, folks, if you want to use him as your kicking coach for your kid, middle school, high school, he is available. Just reach out to him on social media, and he will get back to you. But appreciate your time, sir. This was a lot of fun.
I had a blast. Thanks again. Let's do it again next week.
All right, we'll shoot for next Monday, so a week from tomorrow, right around 8 p.m., probably here on the social media channels. Hopefully you will check that out. And, again, full coverage, BroncoNationNews.com. He's Tyler Rausa. I'm BJ Rains. Appreciate your support, BroncoNationNews.com. Take care.
Welcome back to the Blue, Albertson Stadium, home of your Boise State Broncos, the bastion of Bronco Nation, a field of dreams where greatness has become a tradition. Whether you're new to Idaho and this is your first game, or your family has had season tickets for 3 generations, Lithia Ford of Boise wants you to know you're welcome here.